Karen demanded my war memorabilia be removed. I took it to court and had her HOA license revoked. Have you ever faced someone so obsessed with control they tried to erase your pride, your history, your very identity? That's exactly what happened to me when Karen, the self-appointed queen of our neighborhood HOA, stormed onto my porch one humid summer evening, pointing a manicured finger at the display case in my front yard. Inside it gleamed my father's World War II medals, a folded American flag, and a photograph of him in his army uniform, smiling proudly. "That tacky shrine is an eyesore," she screeched, her voice echoing down the quiet street. "It violates HOA rules, and it's coming down tomorrow, or you'll be fined." My blood boiled. Those weren't just trinkets, they were my father's legacy, earned in blood and sacrifice on the beaches of Normandy. I wasn't about to let some clipboard-wielding tyrant dishonor his memory. Karen wasn't new to stirring trouble in our small Arizona community. She'd been president of the Desert Vista HOA for 3 years, ruling with an iron fist and a penchant for petty power trips. She'd fined the Garcias for their kids' chalk drawings on the sidewalk, forced old Mr. Thompson to repaint his mailbox because it was one shade too blue, and even tried to ban Mrs. Lee's vegetable garden for being unsightly. But this was personal. My display had been up for a decade, approved by the previous HOA board, and no one had ever complained. I'd spent countless evenings polishing those medals, sharing stories of my father's courage with neighbors who stopped by to pay respects. Yet here was Karen, claiming it clashed with the neighborhood's aesthetic standards. I told her to check the records and shoved the door closed, but I knew she wouldn't stop. She never did. The next morning, a certified letter arrived, demanding I remove the display within 48 hours or face a $500 fine. Attached was a blurry photocopy of an HOA bylaw about exterior decorations requiring board approval. I dug through my files and found the 2013 approval letter, signed by the former president, granting permission for my patriotic memorial. Armed with proof, I marched to the HOA office, a squat building Karen had recently redecorated with gaudy gold curtains. She sat behind a desk, smirking as I presented my case. "That old approval doesn't count," she said, waving a hand. "The board's changed, and so have the rules. Your junk's gotta go." I demanded a hearing, and she scheduled one for the following week, her eyes glinting with smug certainty. That night I couldn't sleep. Karen's dismissal of my father's legacy as junk gnawed at me. But then, a twist came from an unexpected source. At the local VFW hall, I shared my story over beers with my buddy Tom, a retired Marine. A quiet man nursing a soda at the bar overheard us and introduced himself as Ray, a lawyer who specialized in HOA disputes. "I've seen Karens like her before," Ray said, his voice gravelly. "They overreach, bend rules, and count on people backing down. You've got a solid case, and I'll help you fight it pro bono." My dad was at Omaha Beach, too. Ray's offer was a lifeline, and we got to work. He reviewed my documents, the HOA bylaws and Arizona state laws, uncovering a gold mine. Karen's board had never properly filed their updated bylaws with the state, making their new rules unenforceable. The hearing was a circus. Karen had rallied her cronies, 3 board members who nodded along like bobbleheads as she ranted about maintaining property values. I presented the 2013 approval, but she claimed it was outdated. Then Ray stood up, calm as a sniper, and dropped the first bomb. The HOA's failure to file bylaws meant they couldn't enforce new rules retroactively. The room went silent. Karen's face reddened, but she doubled down, saying the display was a public nuisance. That's when Ray unleashed the second surprise. A petition signed by 47 neighbors supporting my memorial, collected by Tom and his wife in just 2 days. Even Mrs. Lee, who rarely spoke at meetings, stood up and said, "That display honors all our veterans. Karen's the nuisance here." The crowd murmured in agreement, and Karen's bobbleheads looked nervous. But Karen wasn't done. She slammed her gavel and declared the hearing adjourned, refusing to vote on my appeal. The next day, another fine arrived, this time $1,000. Ray grinned when I showed him. "She's digging her own grave," he said. "We filed a lawsuit in Maricopa County Superior Court, alleging selective enforcement, abuse of power, and violation of state HOA regulations. Ray also requested an injunction to stop the fines and keep my display untouched. The judge, a no-nonsense woman with a silver buzz cut, didn't take kindly to Karen's antics. During discovery, we uncovered emails where Karen admitted to targeting me because I'd disrespected her by shutting the door in her face. Worse, financial records showed she'd funneled HOA funds to her cousin's landscaping company for overpriced community improvements around her own house. The courtroom showdown was electric. Karen strutted in, dressed like she was auditioning for a reality show, confident her title as HOA president made her untouchable. Ray methodically dismantled her. He presented the unfiled bylaws, the petition, and the damning emails. Then came the twist no one saw coming. The state's attorney general's office had been investigating Karen's HOA for months, tipped off by another resident's complaint about embezzlement. A representative testified that Karen's failure to register the HOA's governing documents violated Arizona law, rendering her board's actions null and void. The judge's eyes narrowed as she turned to Karen. "You've abused your authority and wasted this court's time," she said. "The plaintiff's display stays, all fines are voided, and the HOA's operating license is revoked pending a full audit." Karen's jaw dropped. Her bobblehead board members gasped. The gallery packed with neighbors who'd shown up to support erupted in cheers. Outside the courthouse, Karen tried to save face, muttering to a local reporter about appealing this travesty. But the damage was done. The state audit uncovered $30,000 in misappropriated funds, and Karen was forced to resign in disgrace. Her house went into foreclosure after she couldn't pay legal fees, and she moved away, leaving behind a neighborhood finally free of her reign. The new interim HOA president, Mrs. Lee, proposed a community veterans memorial park, with my father's display as its centerpiece. At the groundbreaking, I felt my dad's pride shining down. This fight wasn't just about medals or a display case, it was about standing up to bullies who hide behind rules to control others. Karen thought she could erase my father's legacy, but she only strengthened it. Now, every time I walk past that park, I'm reminded that courage, whether on a battlefield or in a courtroom, always outlasts tyranny. What do you think? Did Karen get what she deserved? Or should I have tried to resolve this without going to court? Share your thoughts below.